You know, when we think about modern broadcasting, we usually just picture the flashy stuff like high-def cameras or those endless screens. We just see that sleek output and, the invisible cloud software.
Right, exactly. I mean, we really want our tech to feel weightless. But if you step into an actual professional control room, you hit this wall of physical reality.
Right. The actual metal racks holding the whole thing together.
Exactly. And that is really where the magic happens.
So welcome to today's deep dive. We're looking at one of those hidden physical backbones today. Specifically, the Kiloview KVW-RN03 10-channel rack.
Which, sounds like a bit of a mouthful.
It does. And if you listening are wondering why we're dedicating a whole deep dive to, well, basically a metal box, it's because this specific piece of gear reveals exactly how these complex AV systems actually stay organized and functional.
Yeah, it really does. So let's look at what actually goes inside this thing. It is built to house up to 10 full NDI video codecs under one roof.
And for those tuning in, NDI is that tech allowing high-quality video to travel over standard computer networks, right?
Right, exactly. So instead of running miles of really thick, expensive video cables everywhere, you use these NDI converters. They let you plug standard HDMI or SDI cameras right into your existing network.
Which just totally democratizes the studio space.
Yeah.
But putting 10 of these video converters together in one spot generates a ton of data and a massive amount of heat.
Oh, absolutely.
So that brings us to the physical chassis itself. The specs call it a 3RU, or 3-rack unit chassis. It measures roughly 19 by 3.7 by 5.25 inches.
Yeah, kind of like the size of a thick encyclopedia.
Yeah, that's a perfect analogy. But the thing that really threw me off is the weight. It is under 4 pounds. I mean, it's literally 3.96 pounds.
It is crazy light.
Right. That is less than a bag of flour. And honestly, if it's just going to sit in a server room, why does the weight even matter to a video engineer?
Well, because in live production, gear doesn't just sit there. I mean, it travels. High-stress environments really demand durability.
Oh, so you're moving it around a lot.
Yeah, exactly. You can't be fumbling with heavy, over-engineered steel frames when you're setting up a temporary control room at, like, a stadium or a remote broadcast.
That makes total sense.
So having a sub-4-pound rack that doesn't bend or warp when you load it up with equipment, well, it solves a major logistical headache for these professionals. It's an integrated modular design that prioritizes easy installation.
Okay, so I like to think of it as this highly specialized, durable apartment building specifically built for video converters.
Oh, I love that analogy. It's spot on.
So who exactly gets to move into this apartment building? The specs say you can freely mix and match different Kiloview full NDI devices inside.
Right, specifically the N3, the N30, N4, and N40 models. You can put them in there simultaneously.
Which is pretty amazing flexibility.
It is brilliant for customized workflows.
Right.
I mean, you aren't forced into buying 10 identical units. If your setup needs a mix of SDI and HDMI bidirectional converters, you just slide the specific ones you need right into the slots.
But wait, I actually spotted a really specific, curious exception in the spec sheet.
Oh, you mean the U40?
Yes. It says it fits the full NDI series except the U40 model. Why draw that strict boundary if it's supposed to be this universal Kiloview rack?
Right, so this really gets to the heart of what modularity actually means in practice. You get incredible flexibility, but you still have to operate within very rigid engineering constraints.
Okay, how so?
Well, the U40 is a completely different beast. It handles really complex 4K conversions, and because of that, it draws significantly more power and runs way, way hotter than the other units.
Ah, okay. So it's like trying to plug, 10 high-wattage space heaters into a single power strip.
That is exactly it. I mean, the physical slots might be there and perfectly matched, but the thermal architecture is just going to blow a fuse.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, if you cram 10 U40s into this tight 4-pound chassis, you'd effectively create an oven. You just melt the entire rig.
That sounds like a very expensive mistake.
Very. The thermal limits of this specific rack were built strictly for the heat output of the N3 through N40 lines.
That completely reframes how I view these specs. It really is a delicate engineering balancing act.
It is. It reminds us that even highly flexible systems have absolute physical limits.
So knowing it's this flexible, lightweight powerhouse, what does it actually take to add this to your setup? Let's talk procurement.
Well, right now, the rack is priced at $738. And it comes with a 1-year Kiloview warranty.
Which isn't bad at all. And I also saw there's an immediate value add for the buyer, right? A checkout code?
Yeah, there's a 10% off checkout code.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and honestly, for $738, it represents a massive shift in AV economics.
How do you mean?
Well, think about 20 years ago. Housing a 10-channel broadcasting matrix would cost thousands and thousands of dollars. Plus, you'd need a dedicated climate-controlled server room for it.
Oh, right. And now you can just grab it from a supplier. Speaking of, this is backed by HDTVSupply, right?
Yes, they are a 25-year global provider. And they even have a dedicated 833 Wolfpack support line for help and product suggestions.
That is wild. You have decades of institutional AV support behind a $700 piece of gear that basically fits in a backpack.
Exactly. It grounds all that crazy digital signal stuff into a very accessible physical reality. You're buying predictability.
Just bringing physical order to digital chaos. So for you listening, I think the core takeaway here is that the KVW-RN03 isn't just some metal box.
Not at all.
It is a highly calculated, customizable 10-channel physical foundation for AV professionals. It lets them do their jobs without worrying about their entire network melting down.
Well said. That is exactly what it is.
And it actually leaves me with this final provocative thought to chew on. As our audio and video technology relies more and more on, invisible cloud-based software, consider how deeply we still depend on rigid physical frameworks, like this modular rack.
Right, to literally hold the digital world together.
Exactly. What happens to our setups when physical architecture eventually becomes a bottleneck for our software? Just something to think about the next time you are watching a flawless high-definition live stream.